Well, I'm back again. Uh, this is Saturday, at least I think it is. Uh, and I'm working on the brakes on the 34 Chevy truck. Strange. Sometimes I have to think about what I'm working on. I always forget the year because it's a whole bunch of different years. And, I get that all screwed up when I'm thinking about it because it's got like 52 uh, Etzel rear brake parts and a Mercury shoe or something like that for the brakes. And let me give you a look-see and see what you think. All right, here's the new wheel cylinders I got. I got a buddy at Napa, or I should say somebody that knows me, that wishes I'd never come in again. And because I'm always going in there with some really oddball stuff. And they want to close the doors when I get near the building. But he found this stuff for me. He was able to marry it up. This is off a 59 Etzel or something like that. And it's in a Pontiac, a 1936 Pontiac rear. Because that's what I put in this. Because the Chevy rear that I had was bad. The original rear, which was for a 36 Chevy truck. And the Pontiac and the Chevy rear that I took out have the same casting numbers. But when I ordered all these big box of brake parts, which was about $300, I looked in the book, of course, without thinking about what year rear I had in it. And the 36 truck, which is 36 front end, and it had a 36 rear, the drums are the same size, and all the parts are reversible. In other words, whatever's in the front goes in the rear. And that's what it looked in the book. So I ordered that. It never dawned on me that I took the rear and put it outside, and that's where it sits. And this is a different rear. So when I got all my parts, pulled them out, I said, this isn't going to work. So there we are. It's got 12-inch drums. And there's all my brake lines. I just went and busted the bank on the brake lines. Wow. Things have gotten really sort of pricey. That's see those brake lines and two fittings. That was like almost $70, 60 and change. And I guess that's not bad, but whew, boy, I'm gonna have to go hit a 7-Eleven, I think. But that's enough to get it done. And if it wasn't for the guys at Napa putting up with me, it'd make it awful tough to do this job. Because they do go in and they humor me. They give me a hard time, but they're pretty good guys. All right. I did get all my door parts put in. So the door's open and closed now. There's this stop, and I think I got one screw to put in. But I had to make all this stuff fit. I had to cut it back to make it fit. What the hell's that? Oh, just a shadow. And all the hardware there. And these are the pieces I made. This piece and the piece on the inside. I had to copy the other side because I only had one set of them. All they are is little spacers to hold the door with this right here. But it closes pretty good. So it's not bad, you know. So that's pretty daggone good for this thing. So when I get my brakes on and get my brake lines, I'm not going to put the glass in yet because I think I'm going to repaint these doors, and I got to paint the bed because the doors are starting to, I think, they're bubbling a little bit. It's hard to see. You can see it right through there. And I was told when I wiped it down with the the cleaning solution that I used to get the dirt and crap off of it, I didn't let it sit long enough to evacuate out of the primer. And then I painted it because I wiped it down, and I'm sure I just wiped it down, blew it off with air, and then shot paint on it. So I was probably too quick in doing it. So it started to bubble on me. I've made this mistake a couple of times, but never realized what's going on. And it takes a while for it to come back at you like that. So now that I know what it is, I'll try to avoid that the next time. But, you know, when you're putting this paint on with a sharp stick and a dirty rag, you know, sometimes it's just the way it happens, the way it comes out. All right. Let me show you what my next project's going to be now that we've all seen this big old thing. Not much to see up here. I haven't done anything up here yet. But I'm going to have the brakes done as soon as I get my brake shoes in. But let's go out here and look, and I'll show you my next project so you guys can really have a laugh. Because this is going to be a hoot. Going to be something. All the guys in the Hot Rod Club, they're always building something. And I feel sort of left out. They build a street rod and build the frame, and all I'm doing is taking a bunch of old parts and shining them up and bolting them back together. And if I have to look for an oddball part, that's about the extent of what I'm doing. So I figured, if they can build something, what's the worst that I could do? Well, this is a 1930 Oakland frame. And Oakland is the same as a Pontiac. It's Pontiac bought them. So in the early 30s, Oakland and Pontiac looked almost identical. And this is just a frame I'm going to use. And what I'm going to do is make something completely different than a street rod. Normally the engine would be up here. Well, and this is a plan, and when you make a plan, everybody starts laughing at you. You know how plans go. I'm going to put the engine right here. That's about as close to that rear as I can get the engine. And I'm going to build probably right from here to the back, build a big old box on it. About, I don't know, I haven't figured out all the details yet. It's going to be about so high. About maybe 4.5 feet, maybe not 5, but maybe 4.5. Then I'm going to put my seat up here, right in the front. Right in here. This is where you're going to drive the vehicle from, or the thing that I'm going to build. It's a little hard to explain. I have a picture in my mind, but it's going to be a hearse, like a stagecoach hearse. That's my plan. Now, I'm going to go through a lot of trouble, and if I don't get it right, it's going to look like a big box with wheels on it. And, you know, it's going to be a hoot. I'll have to just use it for yard art, like an experiment went bad. But that's what I'm going to do, and it's really off-grid. I think my buddies at Napa are going to hate me again when I get started on this project, because it is going to be a marriage of parts that don't go to anything. Might use airplane parts, I don't know. Whatever I got laying around is what I'm going to build it with. Sticks and poles and, you know, tent parts and whatever I can get my hands on. So that's going to be my next project, maybe, if I don't. Whoa, answer. Napa. Don't do this truck. All right. Well, that's my plan. All right, guys. So until I get started on this or get further along on that, I'll give y'all guys a yap later. All right, later.